Hello and welcome to Transformation Now. Hi, I'm Rita, rocker, speaker, author, trainer with soaringhigher.rocks, and happy to be back again and want to talk to you about some things in my new book, Miracle in Your Mirror, Pursuing Your Passion at Any Age. And so I'll be talking about the journey to achieve your purpose. You know, we all have a purpose in life, and sometimes the way we've grown up or life in general kind of, gets in the way sometimes. So I just want to encourage you with some steps there. And so it's not how the journey starts, but how we finish it. Because a lot of people have a really rough journey, and I've shared many stories over the last many months, and so we do. But it's how we finish it, how we go forward, no matter what has gone on in our lives. And so it says you do not have to see the whole staircase, going up to that point where you've reached your dream, achieved your goal, but just that first step. Sometimes we look at where we want to be and it's so daunting that it's like, oh, I can't get there. And so we don't take those little steps where if we took the steps one at a time, it would be definitely very manageable and we could do it. So the next step will present itself after that other step has been completed. And there's so many things that can happen in life that even though they might be rough, they're actually teaching us how to be strong. And so those are lessons that we all need to take and learn. I can look back at a lot of the things I went through, but then realize, okay, I learned particular lessons through the hard times too, of what to do and what not to do, basically. So we focus on what's really and truly taking off and rising higher by implementing laser focus. Everything is laser nowadays. You see that red laser and it shoots fire, it could shoot healing, it could do all kinds of things. But we have to have laser focus with our eyes in our mind too. So I know I fight with distractions a lot, and a lot of times that happens, and it's like, no, get laser focused right back on what you want to do in order to achieve your life's purpose, to be empowered. What is purpose? Purpose is a reason for doing or creating something. Okay, we all have a purpose. I mean, I know sometimes there's like, someone said they had a purpose, they became an attorney, they weren't thinking about it, maybe they, kind of grew up kind of poor and didn't know what, even how to get there, but that a loved one of theirs had been put in prison falsely. And I've seen this story twice, two different people, and so they determined their purpose was to become an attorney, to fight injustices. So there again, sometimes we have a purpose and, need to create something, but it happened because of a particular situation in life, and they became empowered to fight that battle, to go forward. So I love the word empower. We've heard that word a lot over the last few years. It was kind of one of those words that people started using about being empowered to do all these things, but really it means to become stronger. Okay, and even in the military, they get completely taken down. They shave their heads, they make them do all kinds of unpleasant things. Why do they do that? Why do they break these military people down so that they can build them up into strong, focused people with a lot of skills, a lot of abilities, a lot of training that they could go forward with? So again, empowering may not always be fun to be empowered to do something, but you're learning, you're growing. And because of that, you actually become stronger. To be more confident, it could be that, well, gee, I never learned how to, especially for a guy, I remember, I don't know how to change a tire. I don't either, but how to do these things. And so, or maybe we don't feel confident because we never had somebody teach us proper manners. And so going through those steps that we need to do can make us more confident so we can go out there and compete with other people we think are so far above us. No, they're not. But a lot of times it's just that they're more confident. They probably don't have any better skills, but they're more confident. And so empowerment also means doing that. It means controlling our lives. Okay, when we're empowered, we're able to control our lives rather than someone else controlling our lives. And then claiming our rights. And I mean that in a positive way. You know, sometimes people get pulled down a little bit and like, well, you don't have any rights. Oh, yes, we do. And so I like to think of the power and empowerment as we grow, as we take those steps to go forward. And again, a lot of them aren't easy, but once we look behind us, because we've gone through that, we see, oh, I did get a lot stronger. I was able to say no to people who were using me. I was able to at least get online and start taking some classes that now have me so focused and so full of desire to go forward that I can move on now, because my brain, my mind is going that direction now, and I'm really excited about it, where, you know, before maybe not so much. So think about that. So it's working on how to eliminate, again, the things that need to go in order to make room for new things. When a room is full of things, but we want to put new furniture or flowers, whatever, we can't do that if it's too full. Well, same with our brain, same with our lives. If there's so many other things in our brain and our minds that we don't have room for the new, for the positive, we can't let them in. So again, a lot of times we don't want to let go of something that's secure, even though maybe it's not good for us, but we have to make sure that we let go of everything that's not good for us, so we have room then to bring in the new people, places, and things, new classes, new programs, new ideas, and just new relationships that we run into. I've lately run into a few people that I knew God put in my path for a specific reason. Now there's room, because I push other things away, for that to come in. And so think of it that way. It's really opening up new opportunities for you to do that. So then we can accelerate and shift. You think of accelerate? Okay. If you want to get where you're going, you have to accelerate. You have to push your foot on the gas to get going forward. You may have to pause a little bit if something comes up, just like your car, you see a red light. Of course, you have to put on the brakes temporarily, or you have to slow down in some situations, but then accelerate, get back in there. Don't let it keep you where you are. Push again and shift. You know, sometimes we just have to do a complete shift. A gear shift will take us forward, slow us down backwards. So again, think of how you want to shift your life into something so much more positive, so much more enjoyable and victorious for you as you pursue your purpose. Okay, so my goal for you is to understand your life's purpose in order to start achieving it. You know, a lot of times it's just like we're just taking up space and life is just having its way with us. Instead, we have to really understand what our purpose is. And your purpose is what's in your heart, what's in your mind. You can't let it go. Maybe you've never been able to do it since you were a little kid, but you've always had a certain desire to be a doctor, a baseball player, a coach, whatever the case may be, a mediator, love helping people. That's not going to go away. I mean, my family grew up, the women, they graduated from high school, they got married, they became secretaries. That was it. And I really didn't like doing that kind of work that I did for many years, because that just wasn't what was ingrained in me to do. And so think about that too. Your life's purpose is one thing that it's always in your heart. It's always in your mind. Could be pushed in the back for a while, but it's never going to leave you, because that's your purpose. That's your goal. So, and then discern what is and what is not necessary to achieve your dream. So I've talked about that a lot again, but you know, what's not necessary, what's not good, and what is in order to achieve my dream. And sometimes it's changing a certain area of your life. You know, maybe your family's great, health is great, everything's great, but the job is like awful. Or it could be maybe the job is great and there's too much going on in family or relationships, and it's causing tremendous stress to the point where it needs to kind of separate the good from the bad. So again, what is necessary to achieve your dream, not someone else's dream, your dream. That's so important. And so, you know, it's like staying focused, laser focused. Everything, and I'm learning more about it, energy, okay? Energy is really sound and vibration. I've watched all these things, it's like I'm amazed, because I used to think that was kind of baloney. But no, everything is sound and energy, and sound waves and vibrations, and it really does create environments It creates everything that's going on in the world. So, think about, what is the energy that I'm giving off? What am I thinking about? Is it making me angry? Am I making other people angry? Am I giving off positive energy that's actually able to help other people? Think about that energy. Think about what's coming out of your mouth, because I'm seeing so many things about what people say. They're casting that out into the world, and there again, I want to be careful with it, but it has a lot of merit in what we're bringing back into our lives, whether it's good, positive, or more of the same, because that's all we know. That's all we've been used to. But anyway, it's your vision, your dream, not someone else's. Yes, we have to take other people into consideration. We have to take family and others into consideration when we're pursuing our dream as well. It can't be, oh, it's all about me. Well, if there's other people in your life, which most of us have some other people in our lives at least, we have to also consider, how is this going to impact my spouse, my friends, my children, whatever the case may be. So again, it is about your dream, it's your purpose, but there are other people involved in life too that need to be considered in that. A lot of times it's setting up efficient new goals. I'm one who gets very distracted. I procrastinate terribly bad. And so those are things that I'm working on that still to this day. Time blocks, even if you have to lay them out. Otherwise, I can say, oh, I got to go do this. And then I come back and my mind wanders and I read something and I have no clue what I just read. Why? Because my brain's gone here, here, and here. And so, working time blocks, saying, okay, 9 to 9:30, I'm going to be doing research, 9:30 to 10 or whatever. Maybe just make it at lunchtime, and maybe later on in the night, time to check Facebook or Instagram or whatever the case may be. But setting time blocks is really very helpful to not get all over the place and have your different duties for different blocks of time. People who are very efficient and organized, a lot of times that's what they do to get more done without their minds going bonkers. A lot of times it's called monkey mind. That is a real term, and it happens a lot, trying to go to bed and try to go to sleep, and then the mind starts thinking of everything in the whole world. Maybe what you did when you were a little kid. But those are some things sometimes we really have to reel in order to have more focus. So what is your definition of success? And I don't mean the world's definition of success, because that could be whatever they want. And a lot of times definition of success is all about them, their money, their wealth, what they have that they show for. No, that's not, I don't call that real success. If that makes them happy, okay, fine. But what is your definition of success? It could be accomplishing your particular goal, making a difference in someone's life, getting into a new neighborhood, new home. Maybe you did something like I met, doing the administrative work that I didn't like. Like, to me, doing something that I really loved, the speaking, the writing, the being a trainer, those were things, to me, that's success. So again, what is your definition of success for your life? And then, even with family and like kids, you can also help them with goals to achieve their success. But it's not a parent who said, oh, why are you on these games all the time? Why do you have such a mathematical mind? You should be out playing football. You should be a star football player. No. That's the wrong kind of help for kids, for instance. But a lot of times we can help steer them in a right way for success. Because I always look at people, and if I see that when they talk about something, like my friend's grandson who's into real estate, he's just going, unbelievable. I mean, he's 21 years old, and he's going to be really big in real estate. But every time I talk to him, he just would light up. He would just get so excited and then smile. And when you see people get all lit up and there's smiles on their face when they're talking about something, even if it's a far distant goal, and that's certainly not where they are now, that's it. That's in their heart, in their mind, in their soul, and that's what they were called to do. So always think about that. It could be, yes, making a lot of money, be a millionaire. I want to make more money. But every time I think about that, besides taking care of myself, I want to be able, if God tells me to pay for this person's groceries, I see them at the gas station and I know they're struggling, pay for their gas. That's why I want to make money. I want to make more money, not only for the things that I need, but to help family and to help people that I'm led to go, let me buy your groceries. Let me pay this forward. That's where my heart is. And so I'm trusting God. Somehow he's going to help me to do that. And so think about what's in your heart. And always I would encourage you to have a goal to help other people as well. There's a lot of that need in the world, and that needs to be done. You know, certain relationships that you want. You see people that are so happy and, you know, see a couple that's been married for 40 years or whatever. And I have a really bad past in that way. And that's hard sometimes to look at. But then I think, okay, what was their goal? What's our goal? To build up a solid relationship with someone? You know, and it could be a spouse or a, you know, a significant other. Sometimes it's getting married into a family where there's blended family with kids from both sides. And that could be a goal too, as far as building up solid relationships with the kids from the other family. So there's so many things that we can do to build up good relationships, work relationships. You know, maybe you see someone who's really struggling. And I remember working at a large corporation many years ago, and this lady was basically a file clerk, and she would take the bus. And then we just built up a really nice friendship. I knew she was well, I hate to use poor, but that's what it appeared to be. And then I found out how many times she went without lunch because her daughter wanted money, but her daughter wasn't honoring her. Her daughter just wanted money to go blow on things. And I've known that for a couple other people too. And it's like, no. You take care of yourself. You have to eat. You know, that girl's old enough, she can get a job to get some spending money to blow it on those things that she wants. And so I tried to help her. You know, sometimes seeing someone downtown that you know is hungry, give them food and say, this is from the Lord. He loves you, you know, and give it to them. So there's all kinds of things that we can do. Think of, why am I here? Sometimes we go, why am I here in the first place? Well, there's a purpose and a plan for you. All right, so that's very important. And not let circumstances control you. It's really easy to do that. It's like, well, this is the way it is. That's the way life is. So these circumstances are controlling me. There's nothing I can do. Oh, yeah, there is. But we just have to be focused enough to really do that and go forward and think about that. And it takes work. It's not real easy a lot of times. But then you start noticing how different you're acting, how different you're feeling, how different people who used to approach you don't anymore. Because you're not giving off those vibes anymore, that energy anymore. And instead, you start getting comfortable talking with other people that you never would have had that nerve to talk to you before, because you're more confident, because you're working on those things on a daily basis. And when you see yourself in the mirror, you're going to see a different person than you do now. I was listening to a lady last week, and she was talking about how she struggled with her self-esteem and always feeling like she was making mistakes. Now, this lady is very well-known, very famous. And so she said she started doing the high five. She said, you know, when you give somebody a high five, it's like, hey, good job. We see that all the time, people doing high fives. High fives. And so she started doing that in the mirror in the morning and before she went to bed. And she'd go, great job. And she'd give herself a high five in the mirror. She said she could not believe how much that changed her attitude towards herself and her confidence level, giving herself a, hey, that a girl. And, you know, showing herself appreciation and favor and kindness. And just go for it, because she high-fived herself in the mirror. I only did that once, but I'm going to try to do that more, because honestly, I think that is really a powerful way to feel better about yourself. Start getting yourself motivated instead of just looking at yourself in the mirror going, well, gee, you don't look so hot, and you're this, you're that, and whatever. No, smile at yourself. Force a smile. You can do it, and it really makes a huge physiological difference. Give yourself a high five, morning and night. See what it does for you. Okay, so again, try to do that. Fill your life with meaningful activities and what you're going to spend your energy on. Align with God and he can redeem the lost years. I'm doing that. A lot of my life was lost. And so I'm working with him, praying about things to align myself with him so he can open the right doors, shut the doors that maybe I still want to go through, but it's like, no, this isn't going to get you anywhere, and go forward. So if you align yourself, Lord, show me what you want me to do today. Please help me to see myself through your eyes. Please help me see this person who has hurt me so badly through your eyes. And it is amazing how your life can change, how your vision of something, attitude can change by doing that, because you start seeing some things in a whole different world. You may start seeing someone as the reason they're so cantankerous is because they're so wounded inside. So many, that saying about hurt people or hurting people, hurt people, is very true. Why do they hurt people? Because they're hurting inside, but they have this tough facade up to make people think they're not, but they are. And even sometimes in sales, I've heard, if you're trying to communicate with someone who's that very rational, staunch, stoic kind of person, and maybe you're trying to get a point across, you're speaking on a stage, you're trying to sell a product, they still have a heart inside. They still have feelings inside. And I read where, try to assess things, but you can hit a spot in them just like you can anybody else, no matter how tough and stoic they seem, because they still have a heart. They still have feelings inside. And they can, I heard a couple stories lately about this guy, and I won't get into what was going on really, but extremely evil. And evil things that he was doing to other people. And then when this gal stood up to him, he looked in her eyes and all he could see was the Lord. And he finally let go. He started bawling and bawling and bawling, and she hugged him, and then she said, I love you. And they were two totally opposite kinds of people. And other people started kind of gathering around and noticing that he was just crying his eyes out. She said, I love you. And he said, and he was probably, I'm guessing, mid-30s. No one had ever put their arms around him that he ever remembered. No one had ever told him that they loved him. And it just broke him. But he gave his life to the Lord that day, and he was in some really awful things that were totally opposite of that because of that. And sometimes that's all someone needs, So if we really ask God to help us to see other people through his eyes, a lot of times we can feel compassion for someone who may be acting mean, but they're actually broken inside, and help restore their lives. So think about that. That could be in business, that could be on the street, who knows? I have a pastor friend who a lot of times he'll see somebody who's lined up in front of him in a grocery checkout, mostly doing it yourself nowadays, but he can tell that something's going on, something's wrong, they're in pain, and he'll just stop and ask them if he could pray for them. He's done that with checkout people, and try to just put a little quick one in there to the person. So again, because he sees it, he's in tune to other people's hearts and minds and situations and what they're going through. So always think about that. It's life-changing, and it makes us feel so much better because we see, again, how we can help other people transform their lives, and in doing so, it's going to help us transform our lives so much more. So always think about that, and shifting to a higher plane. Doesn't matter, you could be 20, you could be 40, you could be 80 or 90 years old. There's still a purpose if you're still here. And I keep telling myself that too. So go forward with that. And just know we can change our lives no matter what age we are. If people 80 years old can jump out of a plane and parachute, hey, we can do most anything we choose to. I saw a gentleman, I'm not sure what country, and he was dressed very nicely, and he has nothing. I mean, his legs are gone from basically his hips. He has nothing, but he was dressed, and he had these wooden things, and he's going across these large stones, these large blocks over water. He's doing that. So he gets to a place where he can gather some wood, I suppose, for like fires. And so he's down on the ground, obviously, so he's putting all these things together, making them in a little pack, and he puts in something so that he can put it on his back, and then he turns around and he starts doing this, no legs, not even, I mean, there's nothing, and carries them back across the stones, across the water to where he needed them to be. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but it's like, no, that's what he wanted to do. That's what he chose to do. That's what he did. So we set our minds to it, and we can do most anything. So just in the last minute or so here before I continue in the next program, we not only need to earn a living here on earth, we need to create a life. And just, quickly I think about an architect. When they talk to someone, this person has, oh, I want to build this building. I want to build this home. I know a guy who's an architect who's built some of the biggest like baseball stadiums and stuff. And it's really interesting, the life and how you have to see what you want, know what you want, and then you start taking the steps forward to create that. And it's a whole lot of work. It's a whole lot of designing. It's a whole lot of thinking, will this work, that work? So always think about what an architect would have to go through just to be able to create some big, fantastic building or a small house. Many, many steps. We have many, many steps to get to that goal. So I'll continue on with this next time. I wish you all the best. Know that you are certainly, certainly capable to do all things through Him who strengthens you. See you later.